What is up, YouTube land? This is Demon's Crest. It's a game that I've been wanting to play for a while. It's a very uncommon game. We're playing it on actual hardware, which is how I legitimately always do this. I did not press start, so I just wanted to see it go into the actual story stuff. If it doesn't, no big deal. Older games and story, what does it matter? But this game is very cool. I initially put it off because of... Alright, here we go. Because of how Metroidvania it is, but we'll find that out in a little bit.
Yeah, this is a game that multiple times tried to play, but I don't think I ever got past, like 2 hours.
The problem is you really have to revisit places over and over again. I actually casually played it earlier and got to a point where I literally could not beat this one boss no matter how many times I tried, because I ended up being just way too weak. And then I realized through, watching a couple videos, looking a couple things up, that there was, a million things I was missing, because there's just a lot of things just hidden throughout the game. So I'm going to do my best to do a 100% run. We'll see by the end if I end up, getting everything. Although they do give you a pretty clear checklist on your on the pause menu. And if you can't tell just from seeing this 5 seconds, this game looks great.
Yeah, this came out late in the Super Nintendo, so it utilizes the hardware well, and also that's kind of the reason why it's so expensive. It's not like a super, high-end Super Nintendo game, but it's definitely, up there.
I want to say that it's probably over $200 nowadays.
Let's look it up. I'm gonna guess $175.
I'll say an even $200. I have not seen this game for years. I got this game maybe 10 years ago.
Actually, this game is $150.
Oh wow, that's surprising.
I think it might have gone up on some sort of Virtual Console thing.
It's on the Switch.
Okay, that's probably why it went down a little bit.
I find that just because I want to sit through this real quick, just to show off the quote-unquote story, that a lot of times something going on the Virtual Console does not hurt its price at all.
No. One game that's always been available on Wii U, 3DS is Mega Man 7, but Mega Man 7 has always been pretty expensive.
Yeah. Earthbound was available on the Wii U, and granted, the Wii U is whatever, wasn't super popular, but that did not hurt the price at all. It was a $10 download, but people were like...
Did they never put Earthbound on Super Nintendo yet? Or the Switch Super Nintendo thing?
I don't know.
Okay.
I remember it was a really big deal when it was put on the Wii U. That's what I remember from that. Oh, the Red Demon. So this is, I don't know if you want to call it technically a sequel to Super Ghouls and Ghosts, but it takes place in the Ghouls and Ghosts universe, because Firebrand is the Red Demon that appears in that game. Firebrand is also in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I want to say.
Yeah.
Or maybe the Ultimate version.
Yeah.
One of the two.
I think he's in vanilla, but I'm not 100%. Oh.
This game, literally 50% of this game is, hey, remember Mode 7? There's so much Mode 7 stuff in it. And it's awesome. Ooh, this looks so cool. I have defeated the Red Demon. Just look at this. And this isn't even the game in motion looks so much better.
This game definitely has a good atmosphere.
That was half the reason I wanted to start it. I kept, I've been watching SNES Drunk a lot, and he has the opinion that this is a very overrated game, which I can understand where he's coming from, because it really, there's only so many levels in this game, and you really do have to repeat them over and over again. But my thing is, if you like stuff like Super Metroid, then you can't really take that as a negative for this game. The reason I don't play Super Metroid is there's a whole heck of a lot of backtracking, and I'm not a huge fan of that. And also, it's a longer game. This one, I deal with the backtracking because it's a, 3-4 hour game if you, really know what you're doing.
One of the reasons, I don't want to get into the Super Nintendo apologist thing, although I don't think I have to apologize for much, but Super Metroid, or Metroid backtracking in general, is not a big deal to me, because by the time you're backtracking, you usually have at least 1 or 2 new power-ups, if not a whole new arsenal. And there's a lot of times when the level design will have hidden speed booster blocks or like power bomb blocks or something to make it easier to go through or faster. And figuring that out is fun in itself, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it is in this game.
That's actually why,
although to a less extent.
Yeah, that's actually why I'm not. I still like the Metroid Prime games, but the Metroid Prime power-ups are a lot more situational and not as like all-consuming power. Like the beams in that game, like in 1 and 2, are like individual power-ups, and they don't combine together. Only 3 does that.
Dude, this is so cool.
It is so cool.
I did not watch this yet, so. And Capcom, back when. Actually, they've been on a tear recently. Most of their stuff's been pretty dang good.
Honestly, ever since Inafune was fired, I think they've been recovering, and now they're prospering.
There are essentially no options, so I just wanted to show that off. There's no like hard, easy, anything like that.
It really was like the only time that Capcom really suffered was when they were doing a lot of westernized, like outsourcing to Western studios. And it's not necessarily that Western studios are bad, but the way that they were doing it was just like really bad.
Well, within about 2 months, they had Capcom now has just had 2 huge hits in RE4 Remake and Street Fighter 6. I have not heard anything really bad about Street Fighter 6.
No?
I know people like to complain a lot about everything, but I really haven't heard anything bad about it. I know when Street Fighter 5 came out, it was tepid at best. So, Firebrand is pretty strong, although your enemies are even stronger. I do love how this game starts with, like, you're just in a boss battle. And it's the easiest boss battle.
And the dragon looks awesome. It's like a zombie dragon.
It just shows you just how great this game is.
They're really doing the Big Man X thing, where the first boss is, like, ginormous, but it's, like, super easy.
Show you the huge sprite and all that. Yeah, what was I gonna say? I love when games start like that. That boss could be a little harder if you actually jumped and stuff, but in the meantime, whatever.
Oh crap. He's back because he's a zombie.
Well, luckily he cannot move at all. My one major complaint about your movement, if you can't tell, is you move quite slow, and you just kind of have to deal with it. But that's, I think, purposefully done in the game, in so much that, like, the game is made around the fact that you cannot move very fast.
This is really one of the best looking games on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
I think the best looking 2D platform on the system is ActRaiser 2, but
another game that's on my list for something I want to do eventually, but probably will
Demon's
never
Crest
do.
is a million times more playable because ActRaiser 2 is ungodly hard. It is so hard to the point where it ruins the game.
Yeah. And that's probably why I'll never do it. So there's a lot of hidden stuff in this game. In fact, I didn't know that was a thing. What did I just pick up? I picked up a spell. So the way these work is it's almost like the bottles in Link to the Past, where you get this, like, empty vessel. So this is essentially an empty vessel for a spell. I can buy the spell and put it on there. When the spell is used, I still have that empty vessel to put another spell on it. So essentially, the more of those things you find, the more spells you can do. Those things right there give you all your life back. This game does start off pretty easy, but it gets really hard. You're going to see it within this sit-down for sure. I am going to stop to get everything. Like I said, I'm going to try to do 100%.
Yeah, the couple times that I tried to play this game, I got the first power-up where, I think Firebrand becomes, like, green or something.
The Earth one, yes.
Yeah, so I got that, and I think I might have got, like, one more after that, but then I was like, I probably just got stuck because of the backtracking thing.
I like how he's staying one pixel too high. There you are, bud. This game does... I'm trying to think of... Oh, this game does what Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse does, where when the bosses start to get hurt, they change color. I don't know if you can tell. He's gotten a little darker. So this game is also... It's kind of like Super Ghouls and Ghosts in that, like, you have to play by its rules. You're probably like, why are you not shooting faster? Well, you can only have one of those fireballs on the screen at once. It's not a system limitation thing, you get more of them, but with time. Okay, I have a bunch of notes so I don't forget where to pick up stuff. The game itself isn't hard to figure out. It's just where all the secrets and stuff are. Now, Trevor, one thing that most people mention is you do have the ability to just keep flying forever. Now, you can only fly as high as you can jump, which is pretty neat, in so much that it does limit you. You can't just be like Kirby and keep like flying up. The first level, you could, if you wanted to, just do that. Mostly through it. Most of the other levels I played have built-in defenses to that, whether it's enemies that are higher. There's a lot of enemies that you cannot defeat. They're like unbeatable enemies. So while you have very little chance of falling and dying in that way, you do, a lot of times they'll put stuff that hurts you on the bottom, like water. He gets hurt by water. Yeah. At least in his current form.
And even right now, you're doing like a mostly vertical section where you either have to be on the wall or you wait for the platform. So they're already countering your your infinite flight already.
This is just like
it's just like a very different way to do level design.
Yeah.
It's sort of going back to Mega Man X. It's sort of like how Mega Man X has the vertical like kick climbing, which makes like level design a lot more vertical based, but this like takes it to another level.
So this that part right there really reminds me of the first Sigma stage in Mega Man X.
Yep.
Obviously both made by Capcom. I watched your progress, and I'm glad that I shall be the one to put an end to your petty crusade. I believe you have heard of me. I am Arma. Okay. I will be your executioner! You know those bosses that you just fight over and over again? That's Arma. I guess it's kind of like Vile in Mega Man X.
Yeah.
You only fight Vile twice.
I know that it's a huge cliche to have like a rival that you fight like a bunch of times, but honestly, one of my favorite tropes is having a rival who you fight a bunch and also gets like similar power-ups to you at like the same times you do.
Yes, and this honestly kind of does it, because I fought him twice so far. And the second time he got like, obviously like an extra attack, and I'm sure as it goes on it gets harder and blah blah blah. This game is also, I have 6 hits, but a lot of times bosses take 2, so it's not the easiest. You do seem to possess the strength people have been talking about. I look forward to our next encounter.
That font kind of reminded me of Aladdin.
Oh yeah, which is also a Capcom game. You have found the Crest of Earth. With it, you can morph into G Gargoyle and gain great speed and the strength to break stone statues. So, ready for Mode 7? Here's some Mode 7. Yeah. This is actually the first time I played the game. This is the part that I instantly just turned it off. Because I was like, what? Now, it does give you hints by putting like a 1, 2, 3, and 4 there and everything. With the start button. But I was like, what? I thought this was just going to be like a beat the level, go to the next level kind of thing. And would I prefer it to be the other way? Yes. But I can understand why people would enjoy this. Gives me ActRaiser vibes the way you're choosing it. So this is cool. This is kind of like a town, kind of like in Castlevania 2, except for it's all demons. Hey you, I haven't seen you around here before. Are you a stranger here? Yes. They say that the red demon known as Firebrand has risen. He nearly burnt the demon realm to ashes years ago. If Phalanx had not rescued us, we would all be dead thanks to that arrogant fool, Firebrand. Take care of yourself. Hey, I'm a red demon. That's how mad I am. Oh, I got a potion thing. Again, that urn is an empty vessel, kind of like a bottle in Zelda. So you can turn to this, which is stronger, but you can't fly, but you can do this, which breaks or moves statues, which is pretty cool. I'm going to stay as this for a little bit, just because I don't want to play the whole game as the Flying Firebrand. The only major complaint I have about this game so far is just like the same thing as Zelda Link to the Past, is that you can't switch with stuff with L and R. What's the deal with that? L and R aren't even used in this game as far as I can tell.
Yeah,
that's so right here, I had no idea to do that, and I missed my first playthrough in the game. I missed this. This is like a whole stage. This is an entire different stage.
What?
Yeah, and I just totally missed it. Alright, just checking my notes real quick.
Man, this really is like Igavania, like Castlevania games. It looks like Symphony of the Night or like any of the DS Castlevanias, but obviously way before that. It's pretty cool. This game really does look visually amazing.
I know. I don't know if that's like the reason I wanted to start it, but I was very interested for that. I also, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion. I think Ghouls and Ghosts on Nintendo is actually a pretty bad game. And I think the Genesis one is okay at best.
I like the Genesis one, but I do think that the NES one sucks, like, really hard.
But I am a big fan of Super Ghouls and Ghosts, despite all its flaws. Okay, go away. Okay, thanks. You can't... Okay, good. I thought the enemies could go through that. So obviously I have to do that, break through. Again, I just wish I could... I understand not doing it with LNR, but...
At least it's relatively painless, but yes.
So these ghosts right here, they go and blow out the fires, which is kind of cute. I am also certain that this game would be 100 times harder if you didn't, like, go out of your way to get all of... Hello, there we go. To get all of the life things like I am. Go away. Okay. I think this is, this is the first, like, real boss of this game. I had a pretty difficult time first time. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I know so little about this game that I have never seen this boss.
Look on the sides as he moves up. I know it's causing incredible slowdown,
it is still
but
cool.
it's breaking through the parts. It's so cool. This game has everything that made the SNES great and bad at the same time. Like, the slowdown is, like, unacceptable for a game this late, in my opinion, but it also looks just so good.
Yeah, the main problem, and Genesis capitalized on it, Sega did, where the blast processing term came from, but the Genesis, despite coming out in 1989, and being, like, weaker in most aspects, the one thing about it is that it had a faster CPU. And I don't know what Nintendo was thinking. They really shouldn't have, like, cheaped out so much with the CPU.
Okay, so I'm definitely gonna die here. I usually do this a little bit better. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna switch over to this and try to just brute force it. Because if you do hit with this, it goes a heck of a lot easier. Luckily, when you die, you just start on the boss again. There's no lives, there's no continues, any nonsense like that. So that's nice. Although I am just about to die. There we go. Hey, you can see the death. Blah. So retry, you can literally retry right here.
Is there no, like, lives count? You can just do that over and over?
No lives count.
That's cool.
Yep. It's just like Super Ghouls and Ghosts in that way. This will probably be the toughest boss I do on this part of the playthrough, simply because you don't have a lot of life. You're about to start getting a lot more. By the time we end the sit-down, I'll be sitting at, like, 10 or 11 easily. And also, I don't have any, magic or anything yet.
I noticed that happens a lot with some games, where earlier bosses can be possibly the hardest bosses in the game, just because you don't have much. Like, you only have one power-up, you only have 6 health bars, and... yeah, like, I just finished the game, Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne for PS2, and it has a boss like that when you're at level, like, around 15, and they just throw so much stuff at you really early, and it's a boss gimmick where it increases his agility to max, but at that point you have so little agility, you, like, miss everything. It's just a really out-of-place boss, and, like, once you finish that, like, there is no boss that hard until, like, literally the end of the game. Like, no joke. It is so weird.
There are also... Another pretty cool thing about this game is there are different bosses that are weak to different things, which is pretty cool. This one I'm going to play it safe and go with this, because it's generally easier to get around. Now, if I touch the green stuff, I don't get hurt, but it really slows me down. Please. Okay, that only took 1, which is nice. You also don't have to hit this guy too much.
Yeah, because most of the boss is just doing the many eyeballs.
Come on. Yes!
Okay.
Alright.
Whew.
That's probably going to be the toughest boss for this playthrough. Or this part of the playthrough. Alright. Okay, we're already getting into the, the backtracking. You got the piece of the fire crest called Buster. With it, you can break through stone. I know. Backtracking already. I mean, if you want to. You don't have to. But if, like, a speedrun wouldn't do this, but I sure as heck am going to. Alright. Just want to make sure this is, yeah, part 1. Yeah, the open world, not the open world, but the world map really threw me off the first time to the point I was like, oh, God. But then when I realized that start just brings you to that and shows you all the places you can go, I was like, okay, that's not so bad. And it does give you an order of them, which is nice. One of the things I don't quite like about the backtracking, and again, a thing I could see a negative perception on, is I just want to go to the third part of this stage, but I have to play through the first couple to get there. And all I want to do is get one thing, but again, I have to go through a little bit.
If they had like some sort of menu to be like, do you want to go to this place first? You know how like literally Super Ghouls and Ghosts has like a map showing like the entire outline of the area, but if they did
like
that
1-1, 1-2 kind of thing. I would be a little more okay with that. It's fine. None of the levels are long by any means. Like, I'm talking the difference of, like, 2 minutes, you know? But when you do that a lot, I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely adds up.
It's me nitpicking. This game is definitely better than I thought it would be, which is... I was pleasantly surprised. I thought I was going to play it today and be like, oh, God, this game is so difficult, blah, 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 I can't do it. Alright, so we're going to see this Buster. We can do 2 now. So automatically it's awesome. And we get a life up.
Ooh.
Now we are going to... We have 2 choices. There's no real stage select thing. You can either finish the level off where all I have to do is just walk over here, or you can die and do stage select.
That sucks too.
At least as far as I can tell. None of the buttons I did earlier. I even tried the old start and select at the same time thing. But no go. Alright, so now that we have the Buster, we can go back here. One thing that I can show off real quick is if we go up here fully. That's so cool. Look at that background. That
is
skeleton.
really cool.
Just really good world building. The Buster works on this as well, which is nice, and also slow down. I like when he opens doors, he just hits them. So we go in here. He is a potion seller. I have 170 something.
Potion seller. I need your strongest potion to go into
I'll buy the herb,
battle.
which restores some of your vitality. This is helpful early on in the game, but I have a feeling it will be very not helpful later on. It also doesn't give you your whole life back, because of course it doesn't. It gives you, like, part of it. But, you know, yes, this game has unlimited continues, but if you're, like, really close to beating a boss and you don't want to have to do it again, it's definitely helpful. If this game could be 100 times more difficult if it did the old trope of, like, hey, you lost to the boss, do the level again. That would be brutal.
Yeah.
In fact, we just played a game last week that kind of did that. Wolfchild was like, you lost to the boss, I don't care, pleb, do the level again. Alright, so there's a couple things I get in